morning, students. In the earlier video we have seen the quantity theory of money and its Fisher's approach. In this particular video we are going to see the remaining part of the theory. As I told earlier that the quantity theory of money has the two approaches. One is the Fisher's approach and the other one is the Cambridge approach, which I explained earlier. The Fisher approach says that the price level is decided by the money supply in the economy and its velocity. And basically the Fisher has given the equation Pt is equals to mp plus m dash b dash, whereby m is the money supply, b is the velocity of money supply, and p is the price level, and t is the total number of transactions goods which are exchanged. So what the Fisher has said, that basically the price has the relationship with the quantity of money or money supply. In the theory it was said that if the money supply has increased, the price level will also increase. It means that there is a direct relationship between the quantity of money or the supply of money and the price level. As I explained earlier, in the figure you can see as the money supply is M, at that time the price level is P. But as the money supply has increased from M to M2, we are finding that the price level is also increasing. And vice versa is happening in this particular case. M from the money supply is decreased from M to M1, the price level is also declining. Fisher also focused that there is actually the inverse relationship between the money supply or the quantity of money and the value of money. And this is represented with this figure. You are finding when the money supply has increased, as a result of that the value of money has declined. Similarly, when the money supply has decreased, you are finding the value of money has increased. I have explained the reason of this in the earlier lecture. Now, in this particular theory, the certain things were left out, which is explained in this video. Assumptions. In this theory, the long period is assumed. Long period is assumed. The second assumption is that there will be the full employment condition in the economy. This is the second assumption of the theory. The third assumption is that the price is a passive factor. Price is a passive factor. What does it mean? It means that the price is affected by the other factors or the other reasons. Price is actually the effect and not the cause. The third assumption or the next assumption is that the money as a medium of exchange. This is the main gist of the theory, where we can say in this particular theory the Fisher has focused the money's function and the function of exchange. Money is used as a medium of exchange. On this ground, this theory was also criticized. Then the next assumption was that the volume of transactions remain constant. Volume of transaction remains constant. What does it mean? It means that the total number of transactions is not affected or it will not be changed due to the change in the quantity of money. Fisher assumes that the volume of transactions or the transactions will change according to the certain factors which are more stable in nature. These factors are basically the natural resources, technological changes, which has actually the slow changes. So here in the theory, the Fisher assumes basically the volume of transactions remain constant. Similarly, the velocity of money remains constant. Velocity of money remains constant. Again here the basic assumption of the feature is that the velocity of money will not be affected by the supply of money. It will be affected, or velocity of money will be affected on these factors like the population, trade activities, the habits of the people, interest, and these factors do not change rapidly. These are somewhat stable factors, and because these are the stable factors, as a result of that, again here it is assumed that the velocity of money will remain constant. So these are the assumptions. On the basis of these assumptions, we have seen the theory. Now this theory is also criticized. The first criticism is assumption of the long period. The quantitative theory of money, which is of the Fisher's approach, is actually applicable in the long period. In the short run or in the short period, this theory will not be applicable. This is basically the criticism. But Keynes said that in the long period, everyone is dead. So the theory should also be applicable in the short period, but this is not so. The second assumption is that the assumption of the full employment. Again, Keynes criticized this theory on the assumption of the full employment. He said that the full employment condition is basically a rare phenomenon, which is not found basically totally. If there will be the unemployment level which will prevail in the economy, as a result of that, there will be the certain increase in the money supply, and as a result of that, there will be the increase in the output. So the full employment conditions do not prevail. The next criticism is that fails to explain the cyclical fluctuations. Cyclical fluctuations like depression, boom. Basically, this theory actually fails to explain the cyclical fluctuations. The reason of the fall in the price during the depression, why so the price level decrease? Why so the price level decrease in the depression? Similarly, why so the price is increasing during boom? This theory fails to explain these cyclical fluctuations. Then again the theory is criticized that this is a one-sided theory. One-sided theory, here the more focus is on the supply side of the money rather than the demand side. Fisher actually assumed that the demand for money is actually remained constant. So on this ground also this theory is criticized. And the last one here, criticism, that the focus of the exchange function only. Keynes said that the money has the different functions. The money is also demanded for hoarding purpose, for speculation purpose. In the theory, only the function of money, which is the exchange function, is highlighted. So these are the criticism. On the basis of this criticism, the theory is criticized. And the new approach was given by the Cambridge economist, which is called the Cambridge approach. The Cambridge approach we will see in the next video, whereby we will see the contribution of the different economists in the quantitative theory of money. Thank you.